How important do you feel a headshot is?
I mean, it's incredibly important. I think that when we were doing all this 10,000 headshots organizing, we found out the statistics of, you know, a LinkedIn profile, as an example, with and without a headshot. And I can't remember what they were, but
silly.
I know. I think I'm pretty certain it's, if you have a headshot on LinkedIn, you're 21 times more likely to get a connection request. And I think it's 9 times more likely to be contacted by somebody in your, you know, your inbox or whatever. And so for opportunity's sake alone, the $250 for a headshot thing, that is in a situation like what we've done today, where we're on location and, you know, there's multiple people done in a relatively short amount of time. If somebody's coming to my studio, they're paying upwards of $1,000 for a headshot. And, you know, I'll be with them for maybe 2 hours and we'll do, you know, different outfits and all that kind of stuff. And people are really happy to pay, you know, and that's the importance of a headshot. You don't have to spend that much money. You know, like we mentioned earlier, there is different options for different budgets, but it's really important. And a lot of people still, even now, which blows my mind, say, well, why does your employer need to know what you look like? And it's, your employer doesn't care what you look like, but your employer cares how you present yourself.
That's right.
And if you take yourself seriously, are you going to represent their brand? Because if you can't be bothered to represent yourself properly, you're probably not going to represent their brand very well, you know. And so that, I think that's where the importance comes in, is that it just shows that you take yourself seriously and that you present yourself in a professional way.
And so for anyone there's a large majority of the population, even with all the social media platforms kind of evolving to what they are, and everyone has multiple social media outlets, and they're getting more and more comfortable with vlogging and with, you know, this selfie stick movement, right? But to the people who don't enjoy being in front of a camera, whether video or a still photography, do you have advice for that person?
Well, the first part is they're not alone. That's pretty much everybody in the world doesn't enjoy being in front of the camera. The only advice really is to find a photographer who can make you feel comfortable, because I think that's the trick, honestly. When we spoke earlier about what makes a good headshot, right? The lighting, and you could be the most technical person in the world and you could have beautiful light on somebody. But if you're awkward and strange, then they're going to feel awkward and strange, which means they're going to look awkward and strange, right? So having that skill to be able to just make somebody relax in a short amount of time is the thing that kind of they want to look out for.
So when you approach a new shoot, right? And you really don't know that person, right? You yourself are a human being also, with your own emotions, walking into a new job, big or small. There could or couldn't be apprehension with that, or maybe you're just, I mean, regardless of how you're feeling, you're exuding confidence, and your job is to make the other person feel comfortable. How do you do that? Where's the switch for you to be genuine and get the best piece in those situations?
That's a good question. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. It's one rule I have for myself is I don't change what I do for it. I adjust how I communicate for people, but I don't change what I'm trying to do for anyone. I've photographed CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies for their annual reports. And then, you know, I've photographed people for free. What I do doesn't really change. I change how I do it based on what kind of person they are, because you have to do that, right? You have to adjust to different situations, and you have to be able to pick up on little things quickly. Because if somebody's shy and timid and you're loud, you're gonna scare the hell out of them. They're gonna be more, you know, and if somebody is the opposite, you've got to match them, you know. If somebody is dominating and you know, loud and very, you know, handsy, all that kind of stuff, you've got to raise yourself to whatever they're on. Otherwise, they're just not going to connect with you.